People who are 25 years old and above, what's the harshest life lesson you've learned? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Number 10. No one is going to save you. You have to save yourself. And there's only so much effort you can put into other people before you have to start being a bit selfish and protect yourself. Just this year, I took care of my dad for years, and he stole money from me. I helped my ex through a tough spot in her life at expense to my own mental health. She always told me how supported she told her therapist and friends I was, then broke up with me for not being emotionally supportive enough. I felt like I was being a jerk, but I felt underpaid and leveraged a counteroffer to my employer, and it actually worked and I got a large raise. This has not been a good year for me on my outlook on loyalty. Edit. Thanks for everyone's kindness and insight. Besides one iffy comment, everyone has been quite kind. It's good to know a lot of people have gone through similar things and still came out with optimism, or at least having learned a lesson. Number 9. If your employer is doing something illegal or unethical and you decide to confront them about it, for f***'s sake, do it in a way that all communication will leave a paper trail. My wife is in the middle of this right now. She's had a terrible time at her job this year after a new company took over. Absolute show. But she has taken notes, forwarded herself emails, recorded some conversations and interactions. Almost every possible form of keeping record, and she has. We are hoping with her reporting, there won't be retaliation, but in the event they do decide to fire her, we have an excellent record to go to a lawyer with. Number 8. Can go south in a literal heartbeat. Yeah. Went to work today, for the second time ever at this job, came home for lunch instead of eating at work or getting fast food. Get home, find my mom, a stroke victim, covered in blood. She fell and hit her head. Just like that, the rest of my day was spent at the emergency room. Thank God she's alright, 7 staples later. But you literally have zero idea what you're walking into from one moment to the next. Freaking life, man. Wow, I am so sorry this is how you spent your day. I completely understand where you're coming from. I had a similar situation with my mom when I was a teenager. Except she was drunk and hit her head on the side of a table, but that's another story. And I spent that whole night on the night before school in the ER with her. Sometimes you have no idea what the next thing that's going to happen is. Number 7. By the time you hit 30, all the small things you've gotten away with that everyone bugged you about starts catching up to you. Bad posture, welcome back and neck pain. Smoking, welcome a strong cough. Never stretch, welcome tightness. Bad diet, welcome various health issues. You always feel invincible when you're young. 30's where you realize you were wrong. Number 6. That life can take a loved one at any time, so cherish those you love, make time for family and friends, and tell people you love them often. This is so true. My grandfather died the morning after the doctor agreed to discharge him from the ICU. I don't have a single picture with him. Never expressed how much I had loved him. It seems I had so much to tell him and ask him. His death taught me to value people and express my affections more. It's difficult, but a necessity. You never know when people you love would not be there anymore. Number 5. That your coworkers/managers are not your friends. They are nice to you in person, but when you're not there, they talk about you. This is coming from experience. I experienced something bad at work this year. They may say they want to help you, but many will often do it only because they can benefit from it, and when it's convenient, they will throw you under the bus. Now that I'm a manager, I tell all my mentees the same thing. I will be as awesome to you as I can be, and while we're both on the clock, we'll be accountable to each other. Heck, at the holiday party, maybe we'll talk about bands and get wasted together. But at the end of the day, this industry, as with most industries, doesn't give a shit about you, and you shouldn't give one single shard of your heart to it, or to me. Do your work well, and I'll do my best to help you get more money. Don't be shitty to your colleagues. Anything and everything else is meant for your friends, family, and self. Number 4. Sometimes the problem is you. The problem is 100% me. I am perpetuating my problems and making them worse by treating myself and my environment poorly. I know this. I don't go to bed early enough. I don't eat well enough. I lash out at the people that love me. I don't pay enough attention to my responsibilities, meaning I have to redo them. I don't maintain friendships the way I should, and I don't reach out to people enough. Number 3. You can't make someone love you by giving them more of what they already don't appreciate. Still chewing on this one. This one is beyond painful. Having your effort just go unnoticed or ignored and unappreciated burns so bad and makes you feel used and looked down upon. I don't even expect reciprocation, just a fucking minuscule amount of appreciation or friendship. When you do kind things for people and they ignore you, it just fucking sucks so bad. Like just say you don't like me, so at least I'm not trying to figure it out. It's even worse when someone who puts in no effort gets magnitudes of friendship. Number 2. Your friends from high school or college will disappear if you don't make the effort to stay in touch. People in general. I'm 38. In different parts of my life I had friends and family alive that are no longer alive. You feel almost lonely when people that have made up certain memories are no longer there for y'all to retell it. You also just have life slowly separate people from you. Then you go through changes where some people just took different paths and you don't even recognize who they are anymore. You also cherish those moments that you get that make you feel young and alive again, or having people come back into your life and you didn't realize how much you missed them. I'll add, don't stay in touch out of guilt, do it because you truly want to. I used to tear myself down for losing touch with people and I realized it was just guilt. I didn't actually miss them. I just felt like I had an obligation to them that I wasn't fulfilling. Saying this now makes me realize how strange the whole thing was. I'm 60. When I was 9, we moved to a new house. The family next door had a son named Brett. We were the same age. We became friends almost immediately. 4 years later, my mother passed away. 6 months after that, his parents divorced. A year later, his mom moved them 2,000 miles away. But hey, we were best friends. We wrote. 6 months later, his mom decided that was a mistake and moved back to the area. 3 blocks away. We've been there for each other through 3 marriages. When I got divorced, the births of each other's children, all of our parents' funerals, and now, as some of our other friends have started passing away, we're still there for each other. Brett and I got the rest of the kids in our neighborhood to start playing baseball in the street in front of our houses. 51 years later, of all those kids that I grew up with in that neighborhood, I am still in contact with most of them. One moved to Florida, and we haven't seen her in decades. The other broke from the rest of us as COVID set in due to a difference in political/COVID-related views. Number 1. You can do everything right and still fail. I learned this during the 2008 recession. I had been in my first office job for about 3 years and was excelling at my work. I was starting to attend corporate events to start networking. Then the recession hit, and the company decided to eliminate my department nationwide and reform it in Atlanta. I lived in Southern California. I didn't end up getting a stable job until a job with the city of LA about a month ago. I've seen this quote before and thought it was good, but now I would say it's actually a horrible quote. It's depressing tale to say, oh, you failed. That's the end, and it's okay because some others failed, and you failed too, so don't be so hard on yourself. But the truth of life is that every single person who has succeeded has failed somewhere. Everyone who tries will fail. If you stop after a failure, then you have failed, I agree. But if you keep going and don't see that as a failure but another lesson learned about life, real-world experience and knowledge, then you will come out of that experience stronger and smarter than before because you learned something. I prefer this. You can categorize everything that happens to you as good or bad, but I like to think of everything as good. We had someone sue us recently because I didn't do my work properly. Good, I get to learn about the court experience, learn the actual law around the subject, and make sure I don't make the same mistake next time. Growth from everything. Alright folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us today. If you like more of this, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your own story or thoughts in the comments below. We love to hear from you. I'll see you in the next video.